Hi, welcome for the Long Cane update for the week of, today is July the 7th, 2020. Just give you a few updates as to things that are going on in the district and across Blue Ridge Council. The most important thing that we got going on this week is popcorn. So we've got popcorn this week, and coming up next week, we'll be talking more about recruitment. But for this week, we want to focus on popcorn. And so a couple of reasons that you really want to sell popcorn this year. I've got Ben Rosenberger on the call with me, and we'll talk to him in just a moment. But three reasons that you want to be involved in the popcorn sales this year. The first reason is the most important reason of all, and that a scout is thrifty. And so it's real important that youth learn the lessons of hard work in terms of making the money. So selling popcorn can be a challenge at times, and sometimes I get feedback saying, "Oh, I don't like doing it." But that's a real powerful learning opportunity. It teaches a lot of valuable skills to those youth, and the money that the youth earn when they're selling popcorn, they value that money much more than if you just hand them, if you just give it to them, because it's something that they have put their sweat and time and effort into it. And in fact, Ben, I think you have a story about your own personal experience with summer camp. Is that correct?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I was growing up in a pretty low income family. Always had food on the table, but couldn't necessarily afford everything that we wanted. So for instance, I always wanted to go to summer camp at Camp Old Indian because I loved it, but the only way for me to reasonably pay for that was for me to sell popcorn. So I remember selling, $600-700 worth of popcorn between my brother and I, and that's how I paid for summer camp, because that 30% of what I sold went to my unit, my account in the unit, and then that was able to be used for trips and whatnot. So a lot of families don't necessarily have extra money to spend on expensive scouting events and whatnot, because it can get expensive if you want to be a part of everything, which I always wanted to be. And that's where popcorn can come in handy. And like David was saying, it taught me valuable skills and the importance of customer service. And it also shows the community that scouting is still around and scouting is still relevant. And there are a bunch of great young men and women out there that are willing to go door to door and work for what they really want to be a part of.
Right. So as Ben was saying, I mean, that's a huge important reason. It's a valuable, huge lesson that the scouts get when they sell popcorn. A second very obvious reason that a lot of people just always recognize, right, is that it's a fundraiser for the unit itself, and so the units are getting money from doing this, so that's certainly a valid reason to want to do this, because when you have the money, then you have the money to have cool programs, and you can do more cool things. When I was a Cub Master, we used the money to do cool things like, hey, we would go to jumping jacks or that kind of stuff. The last reason, this is also a very important reason, is at this point that selling popcorn just isn't a fundraiser for the unit, it's also a fundraiser for the council. And this is a real tough, challenging time for council because of the whole COVID situation. It interrupted the normal fundraising, it interrupted summer camp, and a lot of the council's operational budget for each year comes through the summer camp program, and it just didn't happen. And so at this point, the request is coming out of council that we need to support council. Without council, we're in trouble. And so if you have the ability to sell popcorn, we ask that you do. And we're hoping that units really turn out. If your unit hasn't sold popcorn in a while, please reconsider selling it again. And even if your unit has, and personally you haven't, we would also, again, please encourage, please think prayerfully about selling popcorn, because again, it benefits the council, it benefits your unit, and most importantly, it benefits the scout. And those lessons that you learn through that hard work of selling popcorn are just key. What about the details, Ben? Any details regarding the popcorn sale that people need to know in terms of being able to sign up their units to make this happen?
Yeah, so if you're interested, there's 3 different ways that we're going to be selling popcorn this year. The first one is through the traditional show and sell. You set up outside a local business or whatnot, and you sell face to face, and the deadline for that is July 18th to place orders for having popcorn in hand. Or what I used to do is I used to take orders. You get the sheet and you fill it out. You go to family members, you go to aunts and uncles. Honestly, selling popcorn doesn't have to be a huge commitment. It can be as simple as going to close relatives or family friends or church members or whatnot, shooting them an email saying, hey, my scout is fundraising. Would you be willing to buy a $10 thing of popcorn or $15 unbelievable butter popcorn? And then the traditional take order deadline is October 24th. So that's when all orders and whatnot has to be processed. And then I believe in August, we're going to be starting the online sale option. So if you want to be totally hands off with this and you simply want to reach out to your friends and family via social media or email or phone number or phone call, you can simply do that. And more information for that will come out soon.
So there is an online only version if that's what someone wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. All right. So thank you for your watching this video today. Again, we're kind of wrapping up some information about Popcorn this week. Also coming up very, very soon is more about recruiting, and we'll be focusing more on the recruiting aspect here in the next couple of weeks, because that's another key thing that we're going to have to do to be able to help grow our movement, because now more than ever, our youth in this country really need the values and the lessons that the Scouting program offers. So on behalf of Ben and myself, thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you again next week.